Chosen one. Listen closely. Time itself has been interrupted. The noise of the world pauses. Distractions lose their grip. And in this very moment, heaven's voice reaches you. This is not random. This is not coincidence. This is not an algorithm. This is divine intervention. Right now, God has pulled you aside because you are not like the rest. You are marked, set apart. And heaven has written your name into a story bigger than your fears. You have always known deep inside that you were different. Others may have laughed at your sensitivity, your visions, your unshakable inner pull that whispers, "There is more." That whisper was heaven's fingerprint. From the beginning, you were designed to be noticed, not by the crowd, but by the King. And today, he says to you, stop running, stop doubting, stop blending in. You were never made to be ordinary. Every interruption has purpose. The delay that frustrated you, the door that refused to open, the rejection that left you broken, all of it was God's way of preparing the exact hour of breakthrough. You see, heaven knows timing better than you. While you worried that you were late, God was weaving every detail so you would arrive at this moment. Right now, at the edge of transformation. And hear this. Chosen one, had you received the blessing earlier, you would not have been ready to carry it. The weight would have crushed you. But through every waiting season, God strengthened your shoulders, purified your motives, and sharpened your discernment so that when the breakthrough arrives, you will not just receive it, you will sustain it and multiply it. It was proclaimed in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 1, verse 7, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, and of love, and of a sound mind." Even when you stumbled, even when you cried yourself to sleep, your steps were still ordered. Nothing was wasted. Not one tear, not one sleepless night, not one betrayal. All of it carried you to this exact hour. Chosen one. The enemy has tried to convince you that you are forgotten, that your prayers disappeared into silence. But heaven is speaking louder now. You were never abandoned. The delays were not denials. The silence was not rejection. It was the setup. The enemy trembled every time you refused to quit. He counted on your collapse. But you kept rising. That persistence was proof of your calling. Now, heaven presses into your spirit. This message is your sign that the waiting season is closing. Our door is swinging wide open, one that no man and no devil can shut. But you must step forward in obedience. You must embrace who you truly are, God's chosen one. This is the moment where destiny calls louder than excuses, louder than fear, louder than doubt. Do not ignore this interruption. Lean in. Comment below to declare your agreement with heaven. Type the prophetic number 777 as your sign of alignment, your act of faith that you are stepping into breakthrough. And while you do, make sure to subscribe, like, and share this word, because when you carry light, you don't hide it, you spread it. And this word isn't just for you, it is meant to set others free too. Heaven has interrupted your scroll because you cannot remain the same. You are standing at the exact hour of breakthrough, and your obedience will open the floodgates of what has been waiting for you all along. Step into it. Heaven is watching. Chosen one. You have been marked by heaven since the beginning, before the world knew your name. before you ever spoke your first word. The hand of God was upon you. You were never meant to blend in with the background of the crowd. Every detail of your life, your gifts, your struggles, your questions was crafted by divine design. You were not randomly placed here on earth. You were intentionally planted as a light that would one day shine in the darkest corners. Perhaps you've often felt out of place, as though you didn't belong where others seemed comfortable. You tried to adjust, to fit, to wear the mask of normalcy. But something inside resisted. That resistance wasn't rebellion, it was revelation. It was the whisper of God telling you, you are set apart. When others could ignore conviction, your spirit was restless. When others could run with the crowd, something in you pulled back. That is not weakness. That is evidence of the mark of heaven on your soul. According to what is revealed in the book of Exodus, chapter 19, verse 6, you shall be to me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. Do you hear this? You were known before your first breath. You were set apart even before the world could reject you. And whether you preach to thousands or silently carry the fire of intercession in your room, your life bears the weight of divine appointment. This is why the battles against you have been fiercer than most. The enemy does not waste resources on those who pose no threat. His attacks have been targeted because your destiny carries weight. That confusion in your youth, those betrayals that cut deeper than words can express, the strange loneliness that trailed you even in crowds, all of it was proof. You are not marked for destruction. You are marked for destiny. Think of it this way. A crown cannot sit on just any head. It must be crafted, fitted, and prepared. In the same way, your trials have been molding you for the crown that heaven already designed for you. Others may have laughed at your difference, but that difference is the very thing that confirms your identity as chosen. When you walk into a room, atmospheres shift. Even when you don't speak, when you pray, heaven listens. Even when you feel unworthy. The mark of heaven is not based on feelings, it is a seal that cannot be erased. Do you remember those moments when you almost gave up? Those times when the weight seemed unbearable? When you asked God, why me? The answer is in your identity. It had to be you. Because you are carrying a flame that no one else was built to hold. You were trusted with battles that refined you. Because only refined gold can reflect glory without being consumed. Chosen one. Do not despise your difference. Do not curse the uniqueness that sometimes isolates you. Instead, see it for what it truly is, evidence that heaven has branded you. While others chase acceptance, you carry assignment. While others pursue applause, you carry anointing. While others settle for comfort, you are called into fire. Because only fire reveals what is indestructible. The mark of heaven is not always visible to people, but it terrifies the darkness. Demons recognize Jesus before the crowds ever did. And in the same way, the forces of darkness recognize the seal upon you. That is why attacks feel relentless. It is because the enemy knows what you carry. But remember this, your difference is your weapon. Your uniqueness is your authority. And your mark is the unshakable sign that God Himself has chosen you. So walk forward, boldly. Heaven has already written your name into victory's story. Chosen one. You know the weight of battles that no one else has seen. You've cried tears that never touched the ground because you wiped them away before anyone could notice. You've carried questions you dared not ask out loud. And in silence, you wrestled with storms that felt endless. But what you thought were moments of abandonment were in fact training grounds. You were being prepared in secret for the hour when heaven would reveal your strength in public. The reason you've endured so much is because heaven trusted you with more. Others crumbled under the weight of lesser trials. Yet you carried burdens heavier than anyone realized. That silent strength did not go unnoticed by heaven. Every trial became a refining fire. Every rejection sharpened your discernment. Every lonely night carved out a deeper place in your spirit, where God Himself could dwell. We find in the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 18, "For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. The pain you've endured is not wasted. It is a seed, and heaven has decreed that a harvest of glory will come from it. The weight of your suffering is only a shadow of the greater weight of glory that is rising in you. Chosen one, remember those who misunderstood you. They called you too sensitive, too intense, too different. But they could not see that heaven had hidden you on purpose. You were not meant to fit into shallow spaces. You were designed for depth, and sometimes depth feels lonely, because not everyone is willing to dive that far. Yet it is in the deep waters that treasures are found. That is why God allowed you to be set apart. The enemy thought the silence would crush you. He believed unanswered prayers would break you. But instead, silence taught you how to listen to whispers. Waiting taught you patience. Pain taught you endurance. And all of it has formed in you a spirit that is unshakable. That is why darkness fears you. That is why hell has tried so hard to stop you. Because you've proven again and again you will not quit. Now I ask you to do something simple, but powerful. Comment below. I hear you. Lord, this is not just words on a screen. It is a prophetic declaration. By writing it, you agree that even in the silence, even in the waiting, you have heard His whisper. You have recognized His training ground. You are declaring that what was meant to break you has only built you stronger. You are saying to heaven, I recognize the voice of my Father, and I respond. And when you respond, heaven moves. The enemy loses ground every time you affirm your faith, even in small acts. Writing those words is not for the algorithm, it is for alignment. It is a way of saying, yes, Lord, I receive my assignment. Yes, Lord, I understand my suffering was not in vain. Yes, Lord, I trust that glory is coming. Chosen one, your battles have been real, but they are not your ending. They are your evidence. Evidence that you are chosen. Evidence that heaven has invested in you. Evidence that you have been trained for something far greater than where you are now. So stand tall. Lift your head. The tears you shed in secret are turning into strength that will astonish even you. The glory that is about to be revealed will make every sleepless night worth it. You are not broken, you are being built. Chosen one. You are standing at the edge of the cliff. This is the place of decision, where hesitation can cost destiny and obedience unlocks eternity. For so long, you have walked paths that tested your courage, your patience, and your faith. But now, the ground beneath your feet feels different. It feels as though everything is trembling, not to destroy you, but to shift you into a new dimension of calling. This is not a casual season. This is not another cycle of the same struggles. You are standing in the very hour where one decision will change everything. Think carefully. What you choose now will echo in eternity. The weight of this moment may feel overwhelming, but it is also proof of your significance. Heaven would not bring you to the edge if you were not ready to step into the unknown. The children of Israel once stood at such a moment, delivered from Egypt. They reached the Red Sea. Behind them were chains of slavery and the pursuit of Pharaoh. Before them was an impossible barrier. It was a cliff moment. Step forward, and faith would part the sea. Turn back, and bondage would reclaim them. Chosen one, your life has arrived at a similar place. Behind you lies pain, patterns, and prisons of the past. Before you lies a vast unknown, yet it is filled with promises waiting to be unlocked. It is written in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30, verse 19. I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, that both you and your seed may live. The voice of God is not silent here. He places before you the cliff of choice. To choose obedience is to leap into the arms of destiny. To choose delay is to risk missing the hour of breakthrough. Do not let fear paralyze you. Fear is the language of the enemy, designed to freeze your feet when God calls you to move. Faith, on the other hand, is heaven's invitation to step forward when nothing looks certain. This cliff is not meant to destroy you. It is meant to prove you. It is meant to awaken courage you didn't know you carried. Think about the stories written before you. Abraham left his land, not knowing where God would lead him. But he stepped, and nations were birthed. Esther risked her life before the king, not knowing if she would be spared. But she stepped, and her people was saved. Peter stepped out of the boat onto water, not knowing if his feet would sink. But he stepped, and he walked where no man had walked before. Each one stood at their cliff moment. Each one chose faith, and so must you. This is not just about survival anymore. This is about destiny. Your cliff moment is not just for you, it is for those connected to your obedience. Your yes will open doors for others. Your leap will shatter chains you didn't even know you were breaking. The cliff is not only about your courage, it is about heaven's plan unfolding through you. Chosen one, pause and feel the gravity of where you are. The air is heavy because eternity leans into this decision. The ground feels unsteady because it is shifting beneath your feet. You may feel like you are standing alone, but heaven surrounds you. Angels wait for your move. The cloud of witnesses leans forward to watch, and the Father himself whispers, choose life. Step forward. Trust me. You were not brought this far to remain still. You are at the edge. But the edge is not your end. It is your beginning. Chosen one. The truth you carry is not something small or fragile. It is a blazing light. And whether you realize it or not, that light terrifies darkness. Every time you walk into a room, the atmosphere shifts. You may not see it with your natural eyes, but in the spirit, chains tremble and shadows scatter. You carry something heaven deposited, something that cannot be faked or imitated. That is why your life has felt different. That is why opposition has been so strong. Darkness fears the light you carry. It is written in the Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 5, the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. Your very existence fulfills this word. Even in moments when you felt weak, The light within you refused to be extinguished. Every battle you survived was another testimony that no matter how fierce the storm, the darkness could not conquer the flame in you. There were times when you wondered why certain people seemed uneasy around you. It wasn't because you did something wrong, it was because the light exposes what hides in shadows. Some will resist it because they fear being seen. Others will be drawn to it because your light awakens their hope. Never confuse rejection with failure. Often, rejection is simply proof that the radiance in you is too bright for those who prefer to remain in the dark. Chosen one. The enemy has worked tirelessly to silence you, because he knows that even your presence disrupts his schemes. He has tried to convince you that your voice doesn't matter, that your testimony isn't strong enough, that your influence is too small. But every whisper of doubt is a lie. When heaven puts its light in someone, the impact cannot be measured in numbers. Sometimes one spark sets off a fire that changes everything. Your assignment now is not only to guard the light, but to release it. This light is not meant to stay hidden in secret places. It is meant to shine, to spread, to multiply. And here is where I speak to you, sincerely, not as a demand, but as an invitation. If this message is stirring something in your spirit, share it. Shine the light beyond yourself. When you click share, you are not simply engaging with content, you are extending heaven's torch into someone else's darkness. In the same way, when you choose to like and subscribe, you are making sure you stay connected to the flow of messages heaven is pouring out. It isn't about building numbers, it's about building strength together. Every like is a declaration, I stand with the light. Every subscription is a commitment, I will not walk alone in this journey. You're aligning yourself with a community of other chosen ones, people who carry the same fire, people who need your light as much as you need theirs. Think of it this way. A single candle may seem small, but when one candle lights another, and another, and another, suddenly the whole room is illuminated. Your obedience to spread the light makes you part of that chain reaction. Someone who is on the verge of giving up might stumble upon the very message you helped carry forward. Someone lost in shadows could find their way back to hope because you allowed your flame to shine beyond yourself. Chosen one. This is bigger than you. You are not just a receiver of light, you are a bearer of it. Heaven placed this fire in you, not to keep to yourself, but to release into a world that desperately needs it. So, protect it, nurture it, and then, with courage, let it shine. Chosen one. Do you realize what is happening right now? This very message has arrived at your spirit at the exact hour heaven appointed. You didn't stumble here by accident, and you didn't scroll here by chance. The timing is too precise, too divine, too weighty to be coincidence. Heaven aligned this word with the rhythm of your life, because this is the moment where confirmation comes. For so long, you prayed for a sign. You asked God if He still remembered you, if your name was still spoken in heaven's courts. And now the answer is here. The very fact that your heart is still beating with expectancy proves that the promises spoken over you have not died. They are alive, waiting for the appointed hour, and now that hour is striking. Scripture says in the Gospel of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3, For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak, and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. You see, God does not move by your clock. He moves by His. Every delay was never denial. It was orchestration. Every unanswered prayer was not neglect. It was timing. And now, the appointed time is unfolding before your very eyes. Chosen one. Prophetic confirmation is heaven's way of reminding you that you are not forgotten. Look back at your life for a moment. Notice the patterns, the encounters, the words that seemed random at the time, but now connect like pieces of a divine puzzle. The people who entered and exited your life were not accidents, they were assignments. The opportunities that closed were not punishment, they were protection. And the stirring you feel now is evidence that the season has shifted. You are not the same person you were even a year ago. The pain refined you. The silence sharpened you. The disappointments molded you into someone who can now carry what once would have crushed you. That is why heaven is speaking now. The confirmation arrives not when you demand it, but when you are ready to receive it. Do not ignore the weight of this moment. Heaven has leaned close to remind you, the vision will not die. The promise will not fail. The seed you sowed in tears will break forth in joy. And every enemy who mocked your waiting will soon see that God Himself was your keeper all along. Now, chosen one, I ask you to respond prophetically. Comment below the number 222. Do not treat this as something casual. It is a prophetic act. The number 222 symbolizes divine alignment, confirmation, and agreement with heaven's appointed timing. By writing it, you are declaring, I agree with the timing of God. I trust the vision He gave me. I will not give up before the promise manifests. When you type it, you are not just posting numbers, you are stamping your faith into the atmosphere. You are saying, even if it tarried, I know it will not tarry anymore. Even if it felt delayed, I know the hour has arrived. I stand in alignment with heaven's perfect timing, and every time you declare it, the enemy loses power, because faith cancels fear. Chosen one, confirmation has come. The appointed hour is here. Lift your head. Strengthen your heart. Step forward with the assurance that what God has spoken will surely come to pass. Chosen one, have you ever wondered why your journey has felt heavier than most? Why it seemed that from childhood you carried burdens that others around you never understood? The truth is, you have been carrying more than most because heaven designed you with capacity others do not have. You have been trusted with weights that would have crushed others, not because you are stronger by nature, but because God Himself has sustained you. There were moments when the load felt unbearable, nights where you cried out, asking, why me? Lord, why this path? Why these battles? Yet the answer is woven through your very being. You were called to endure. Because endurance has produced a strength in you that cannot be manufactured any other way. It was never punishment. It was preparation. We are reminded in the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 4, verse 17, for our light affliction, which is but for a moment, works for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory. Though the afflictions felt crushing, heaven calls them light compared to the eternal glory they are birthing within you. Your scars are not marks of defeat, they are evidence of survival, proof that you carried what others could not, and testimony that the hand of God never left you. Think of the seasons when you felt like collapsing under the pressure. People around you may have assumed you were fine because you smiled. You showed up. You kept moving. But inwardly, Battles raged that few could comprehend. Even then, you held on. That is not weakness, that is extraordinary resilience. And it is precisely that resilience that has set you apart. Carrying more than most has also taught you compassion. You see pain in others because you've tasted it yourself. You notice the silent struggles of those around you because you remember your own silent tears. This compassion is not accidental, it is your anointing. God allowed you to experience weight so that you would be able to lift others when their burdens feel too heavy. But let this truth sink deep. Just because you've been given more to carry doesn't mean you will always walk bent under the weight. No. Chosen one. There comes a time when the weight transforms into wings. What once felt like a crushing burden becomes the very strength that allows you to soar. That is where you are headed. The heaviness is shifting. The load is turning into legacy. Remember Joseph, betrayed by his brothers, thrown into a pit, sold as a slave, falsely accused. Imprisoned, he carried more than most. Yet every burden was positioning him for the palace. Every injustice was aligning him with destiny. And when the time came, Joseph realized that the weight he carried was not just for him, but for the salvation of many. Likewise, your extra weight has never been just about you. It has always been about the lives connected to your obedience. Chosen one. Stop seeing yourself as weak because you have felt weary. Weariness is the body's response to extraordinary strength being tested. The truth is, you are far stronger than you know. Every season of heaviness has carved resilience into your spirit. You are no longer the same as you were before the storms. You are forged, refined, made into someone who can withstand what others would never survive. So, lift your eyes from the heaviness. See the truth. You are not just surviving the weight, you are mastering it. And soon, you will discover that the very thing that tried to break you has become the foundation of your breakthrough. Chosen one. The time for delay has ended. Mercy has stretched long. Patience has held you through seasons of wandering. But now, heaven declares, the final call has been sounded. Delay is no longer safe. To hesitate now is to risk blindness of spirit. You stand at a threshold where obedience must be immediate, because rebellion in this moment carries consequences that cannot be undone. For too long, many confuse mercy with permission. They believe that because judgment has not yet fallen, compromise must be acceptable. But heaven's silence does not mean approval. It means space to repent. And when that space closes, what remains is accountability. Chosen one. You are hearing this word now because you are still within mercy's embrace, but do not take it lightly. Mercy is speaking its final call. We find in the book of Hebrews, chapter 10, verse 26. For if we sin willfully after we have received the knowledge of the truth, there no longer remains a sacrifice for sins. These words cut deep, not to condemn you, but to awaken you. The danger of rebellion is real. To willfully ignore the voice of God after He has revealed truth is to step outside the covering of mercy. And once mercy steps back, blindness of spirit takes over. You have seen this in others, those who once carried fire but chose disobedience. At first, nothing seemed to change. They still looked the same, spoke the same, moved among the same circles. But slowly, a shadow crept in. Conviction faded. Their vision dimmed. What was once alive in them became numb. This is the blindness that rebellion births. And chosen one. This warning comes so that it will not be your story. Mercy's call is not just about avoiding judgment, it is about entering destiny. God is not trying to take something from you, He is trying to give you everything He prepared for you. But to enter the fullness, you must release what He has already said no to. You cannot carry rebellion into breakthrough. You cannot mix obedience with compromise and expect the doors of heaven to swing wide. This is the hour of urgency. Heaven is pressing on your heart because you are closer to breakthrough than you realize. But proximity demands purity. The closer you are to promise, the less room there is for rebellion. This is why you feel the weight of conviction so sharply now. It is not punishment, it is love. God disciplines those He loves. And conviction is proof that His Spirit is still working within you. Chosen one. Pause and feel the seriousness of this moment. You are standing in a place where mercy has leaned in, not to condemn, but to pull you forward. The final call is not meant to crush you, but to awaken you. This is your chance to step fully into obedience, to let go of the distractions, the sins, the habits, and the voices that have kept you bound. Remember, blindness of spirit does not come all at once. It comes slowly, with small compromises that seem harmless at first. One ignored conviction, one tolerated sin, one delayed act of obedience. Then, little by little, the fire dims until there is nothing left but ashes. But you are not meant for ashes, you are meant for flame. That is why heaven's voice grows louder now. Do not ignore it. Do not push it aside. You are at the edge of destiny. And mercy is reaching for your hand one last time. Obedience now is not optional, it is essential. Step forward while the door of grace is still open. Chosen one. Can you sense it? Heaven is extending something before you that words can barely describe. The crown of destiny, long prepared and preserved, is being held out with your name etched upon it. You have walked through storms, endured fire, survived valleys, and not for nothing. Every trial was shaping your head to bear the weight of this crown. Every tear was polishing its jewels. Every rejection was carving room for its glory. Now the moment has come where heaven says, "Take your crown." Crowns are not given lightly. They are symbols of victory, authority, and recognition. In the spiritual realm, your crown signifies more than survival. It declares dominion. You are not a wanderer anymore. You are a ruler in the kingdom of God. You carry authority not only over the storms you have survived, but also over the territories God assigns you to influence. This crown is not about human pride. It is about divine purpose. The apostle reminds us in his letter to the Corinthians, first book, chapter 9, verse 25. Everyone who strives for mastery is temperate in all things. They seek a corruptible crown, but we, an incorruptible. The trials you thought would end, you were actually proving grounds. The pressure that nearly crushed you was heaven's way of fitting the crown upon your spirit. And now, you stand approved, not because of perfection, but because you refuse to quit. Chosen one. Do you realize how powerful your perseverance has been? The enemy expected your surrender long ago. He threw lies, losses, betrayals, temptations, all designed to strip you of hope. But you rose again. Even when you stumbled, you got back up. That resilience terrified the darkness. because it proved that your love for God was real. Anyone can praise in comfort, but only the chosen worship in pain. Only the chosen keep walking when every reason to stop surrounds them. And that is why the crown belongs to you. But here is the challenge. Heaven extends the crown, but you must choose to take it. Crowns are not forced onto heads, they are received. To wear your crown is to declare openly, I accept who I am in Christ. I embrace the authority He has placed upon me. I will no longer live beneath my calling, but I will walk in the victory already purchased for me. This is the hour of decision. The crown waits. The question is, will you receive it? Will you step into the identity heaven carved for you before you were even born? This is not about worthiness, because none are worthy in themselves. This is about grace, which has already declared you worthy through Christ. All that remains is your yes. Now, I invite you to respond prophetically. Comment below, I choose my crown. Do not take these words lightly. This is not for appearances, it is a declaration in the spirit realm. By writing it, you are saying, I will not live in defeat any longer. I will not bow to fear or doubt. I accept the authority heaven has given me. I will rise into my assignment. Every time you declare it, the atmosphere shifts. Angels recognize it. Demons fear it. Heaven records it. This is more than a phrase, it is a seal. A chosen one, crowned, ready to step into destiny without hesitation. So, take courage. Lift your head. The crown is extended before you. Stretch your hands in faith and receive it. For this is your hour of coronation. The proof that every storm you endured was never wasted. Chosen one. Do not be surprised when God begins to separate you from people, places, and patterns that no longer serve your calling. Separation is not rejection, it is divine protection. Too many times, you've tried to hold on to connections that were never meant to walk with you into your next season. And every time, heaven whispered, let go, because I am making you whole. It hurts when people drift away, when familiar faces turn into distant memories. But remember this, pruning always comes before growth. When God removes what is unnecessary, it is not to leave you empty, it is to make room for the greater fruit He intends to bring forth in your life. You cannot walk into destiny weighed down by counterfeit relationships or compromised alliances. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 6. For you are a people, holy to the Lord your God. He has chosen you, out of all the peoples, to be His treasured possession. This verse is not just about Israel, it is about the chosen ones today. You are treasured, you are holy, and that means you cannot remain entangled with what pollutes your spirit. Chosen one. Think back to the times you felt the sting of separation. At first, you questioned if it was punishment. You asked, did I do something wrong? Why am I always the one left behind? But the truth is, heaven was not punishing you. It was protecting you. Some people were only meant to be lessons, not lifelong companions. Some environments would have stifled your growth if you stayed too long. God loved you too much to let you settle. Understand this. Separation is a mark of being chosen. Jesus Himself was constantly misunderstood, constantly opposed, and often withdrew to lonely places, not because He was weak, but because He was focused. Likewise, God separates you, not to isolate you forever, but to concentrate you, to refine your vision, sharpen your spirit, and align you with heaven's purposes. But here is where the challenge comes. Separation feels lonely at first. It feels like loss. Yet what feels like emptiness is actually preparation for fullness. God is not leaving you without. He is leading you toward. And what is coming will make sense of every goodbye, every closed door, every unanswered text, every friendship that faded without explanation. Chosen one. When God removes people, He never subtracts without multiplying. Every counterfeit removed is space made for the authentic. Every imitation stripped away makes room for the real. But to step into this season, you must release willingly. Stop clinging to what heaven is cutting. Stop mourning what God has already buried. Lift your head, because the separation is proof that you are precious to Him. And here, with a heart that is both pastoral and sincere, I remind you, this journey is not meant to be walked alone. If this word resonates with your spirit, like it, not for me, but for you as a way of saying, I agree with this separation. I trust God's process. Share it, so others who are in the middle of painful pruning know they are not abandoned. And subscribe, not because of obligation, but because you recognize the importance of staying aligned with the flow of words heaven is releasing. We are stronger together. Chosen ones, encouraging chosen ones. Your separation is not the end of your story, it is the beginning of clarity. Walk boldly in it. Heaven is not taking from you. Heaven is preparing to crown you with more than you ever imagined. Chosen one. There comes a time in every divine journey when the mantle of fire is placed upon your shoulders. It is not a gentle garment, but a burning one, an anointing that consumes what is impure and ignites what is eternal. This fire does not merely rest on you for show, it transforms you into a living torchbearer. Where you walk, flames spread. Where you speak, sparks fly. Where you pray, atmospheres shift. This fire is not born of human strength. It is birthed from the altar of surrender. The prophet Elijah knew this when he stood against the prophets of Baal. He prepared the altar, drenched it with water, and then called upon the name of the Lord. And fire fell from heaven, not just to prove a point, but to demonstrate that when God marks a life with fire, no force of darkness can resist it. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 104, verse 4. He makes his angels spirits, his ministers a flaming fire. This is who you are becoming. Not just someone who believes, not just someone who survives, but someone who burns with such intensity that everything around you feels the presence of God. Chosen one. Fire is both a gift and a test. Fire purifie. But it also reveals. Gold placed in the furnace is stripped of its impurities, leaving only what is valuable. In the same way, God has placed you in fiery trials, not to destroy you, but to reveal what could not be burned away. Every betrayal, every season of loss, every battle that felt endless, these were not designed to consume you, but to refine you. Look at yourself now. You are stronger, purer, sharper, more unshakable than before. That is the work of the fire. But fire also carries responsibility. Those who carry fire cannot live as those who do not. A torchbearer cannot hide their flame, nor can they use it carelessly. The fire is holy. It is meant to break chains, not to burn people, to light paths, not to ignite pride, This mantle upon you calls for a higher walk, a deeper surrender, and an unshakable focus. You may feel the weight of it at times, the pressure of being set apart, the cost of carrying fire in a world that prefers shadows. Yet understand this: you were trusted with the mantle because heaven saw in you a willingness to endure the refining. Many desire the fire's power, but few are willing to pay its price. You have paid it. That is why it rests on you. And know this: fire spreads. The flame upon you is not meant to remain contained. Your life, your testimony, your words, even your silent prayers, they are embers that ignite others. Some who are near you will catch the flame without even realizing it. Others will resist, because the fire exposes what they would rather keep hidden. Do not be discouraged by this. The fire cannot be ignored, and its influence cannot be denied. Chosen one, embrace the mantle. Do not shrink from it. Do not try to put it aside when it feels heavy. Let it burn through you. For in that burning, you will discover that you were never meant to be ordinary. You are heaven's torchbearer, carrying light into dark places, carrying warmth into cold hearts, carrying truth into spaces bound by lies. And as long as the fire burns within you, no shadow can overcome you. Chosen one, can you hear it? Heaven's alarm is sounding. It is not the soft chime of a gentle reminder, it is the blast of a trumpet, sharp and urgent, calling you to rise, to respond, to obey without hesitation. This alarm is not meant to frighten you, but to awaken you. For too long, you have moved between seasons of waiting and wandering, but now the time has struck. Heaven will not allow you to sleep through this moment. Alarms are always loudest when danger or urgency is near. Spiritually, this alarm means you cannot delay what God is commanding any longer. He has whispered to you in the quiet, nudged you in the silence, and stirred your spirit when you tried to ignore him. Now the whisper has turned into a trumpet. This is the hour where obedience must be full, where surrender must be complete. It is written in the book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 1, "Blow the trumpet in Zion, sound the alarm on my holy hill. Let all who live in the land tremble, for the day of the Lord is coming. It is close at hand." This is the alarm sounding in your soul right now. Heaven is declaring that what once felt distant is suddenly near. The day is at hand. The call is not for tomorrow, it is for today. Chosen one, when an alarm goes off, you only have two choices. You can silence it and return to sleep, or you can wake up and take action. Many silence the alarm, convincing themselves there will always be more time, but more time is not promised. Every second is a gift. Every moment of conviction is grace. The fact that you are hearing this message means God has given you another chance to respond. Heaven's alarm is also a call to separation. The blast does not invite everyone, it summons those who are chosen. It calls you to leave behind the distractions, the compromises, and the noise of the world. It calls you to align fully with the purposes of God. You cannot carry both obedience and rebellion into this next season. The alarm demands a decision. You may feel the shaking in your spirit right now. That is not fear. It is the trembling that comes when heaven touches earth. Do not ignore it. The Spirit is pressing because your breakthrough depends on your response. The doors that are about to open require your obedience as a key. Without obedience, the door remains closed. with obedience. No power in hell can keep it shut. This is why the alarm sounds with such force. It is not just about you, it is about those connected to you. Your obedience will ripple into lives you do not even know yet. Your surrender will unlock chains in people you have never met. Heaven's alarm is calling you, not only for your sake, but for theirs. Now, as a prophetic act, I invite you to respond. Comment below the number 444. This is not a random gesture, it is a sign of agreement with heaven's alarm. The number 444 carries the meaning of open doors, divine completeness, and God's unshakable order. By writing it, you are declaring, I hear the trumpet. I wake up. I obey. I align myself with heaven's order. Do not underestimate this act. When you write it, you are stamping your faith into the atmosphere. You are saying, I refuse to go back to sleep. I am awake. I am ready. I am aligned. And all of heaven bears witness to your response. Chosen one. The trumpet is sounding. The time is now. Do not delay. Do not silence the alarm. Rise. Obey. And step boldly into the purpose that has been waiting for you all along. Chosen one. Every flame carries both beauty and danger. Fire warms, illuminates, and refines, but it also burns away what cannot remain. That is what you are stepping into now, the final refining flame. You have already endured trials that stripped you of illusions, storms that shook you free of false securities, and losses that left you clinging only to God. Yet this final refining is different. It is not meant to destroy you, but to prepare you for the fullness of your calling. The prophet Malachi speaks of such a fire. In the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 3, it is written, He will sit as a refiner and purifier of silver. He will purify the Levites and refine them like gold and silver. Notice the posture. He sits. The refiner does not leave the furnace unattended. He sits with watchful eyes, never distracted, never careless. He knows the exact temperature to allow and the precise moment to lift the vessel from the fire. That is where you are now, under the gaze of the refiner. This final refining flame feels intense because it touches the deepest parts of you. It reaches where shallow trials never could. It exposes hidden motives, unspoken fears, and attachments you thought were harmless. The flame presses in, not to shame you, but to free you. For what you are about to carry requires purity. You cannot step into the weight of your destiny with residues of yesterday's compromise. Chosen one. Think of silver in the hands of a craftsman. As the metal is heated, impurities rise to the surface. Each time, the craftsman skims them away, repeating the process until the silver becomes so clear it reflects his face. That is what God is doing with you. The intensity you feel is not abandonment, it is refinement. He will not stop until his reflection is seen in you. And though the fire feels unrelenting, it is not eternal. Flames burn hottest just before the refining is complete. That is why your battles have intensified recently. The pressure you feel is evidence that the process is nearing its end. You are closer than you realize to emerging pure, unshakable, and ready. But understand this. Refinement is not only about removing the bad, it is also about strengthening the good. Fire hardens steel. It makes it resilient, unbendable, and fit for battle. In the same way, The flame is fortifying your spirit. It is teaching you endurance that cannot be stolen, faith that cannot be shaken, and courage that cannot be quenched. You are not just surviving the fire, you are being forged by it. Chosen one. Remember the three Hebrew men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They were thrown into a furnace so hot that even the guards outside were consumed. Yet when the king looked in, he saw not 3 but 4 walking in the fire, and they emerged without even the smell of smoke on them. This is your promise. You will not come out burned, but you will come out transformed. You will not emerge empty, but empowered. So do not despise the refining flame. Do not run from it. The fire is not your enemy, it is your ally. It is preparing you for the weight of glory that is about to be placed upon your life. Soon, when the refiner looks upon you, his image will shine back in purity, and your destiny will be sealed with fire-tested strength. Chosen one. Can you sense it? Your name is not just written in earthly records, it echoes in the halls of heaven. Angels know it, demons fear it, and the Father himself speaks it with love and authority. You may have been overlooked by men, dismissed by crowds, or forgotten by those you served. But heaven has never forgotten your name. Every syllable carries weight in the spiritual realm. There are moments when you feel invisible, as though your labor is unseen and your prayers unheard. But invisibility to men does not mean insignificance to God. Heaven has recorded every act of faithfulness, every hidden sacrifice, every whispered prayer spoken in your room at midnight. What the world ignored, God treasured, and the sound of your name resounds in eternity as one who belongs, one who is chosen, one who is marked. The Book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 5, proclaims, "The one who is victorious will, like them, be dressed in white. I will never blot out the name of that person from the book of life, but will acknowledge that name before my Father and his angels." Imagine that, the King of Kings, standing before the throne of heaven, acknowledging your name with pride and joy. That is your reality. Chosen one. And it does not stop there. When your name is spoken in heaven, it releases movements in the earth. Angels are dispatched. Assignments are activated. Protection surrounds you, not because of luck, but because your name carries heavenly endorsement. Demons recognize it too. Remember how, in the book of Acts, evil spirits admitted they knew Jesus and Paul. Likewise, the enemy knows your name. That is why the attacks against you have been strategic and relentless. You are not just anyone, you are known in realms unseen. Chosen one. Think about the battles you faced. They were not random. The resistance was proportionate to the recognition of your name in heaven. The enemy does not waste energy on the nameless. He targets those whose names carry weight in God's plan. Every trial you endured is confirmation that your name carries authority beyond what you realize. This truth should not only humble you, it should empower you. You are not fighting for recognition, you are fighting from recognition. Your identity has already been affirmed by heaven. You don't need validation from crowds when eternity has already stamped approval on your existence. You don't need applause from men when angels already move at the sound of your Father calling your name. But know this as well, with recognition comes responsibility. To be known in heaven means to be watched in the earth. Your actions carry influence, even in ways you may not see. Someone is watching how you endure, how you worship, how you forgive. Your faithfulness is not just about you, it is a testimony to others. Heaven echoes your name, not only for your sake, but for the sake of those connected to your journey. So do not shrink back. Walk with the assurance that your name is sealed in the book of life, that it is spoken with authority before the throne, and that it carries weight in the battles you face. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. Your name echoes in heaven, and its sound shakes both realms of light and darkness alike. Chosen one, you have reached the moment where everything shifts forward. The hesitations that once held you back are breaking, and the courage you prayed for is rising within you. This is the season where your march cannot be stopped, for heaven has already decreed that you will move forward with holy boldness. The ground before you may look uncertain, but it will not swallow you. The obstacles may seem towering, but they will not defeat you. Your steps are unstoppable because they are ordered by the Lord. According to what is revealed in the book of Joshua, chapter 1, verse 9, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid, for the Lord your God is with you. This is not just a reminder, it is a command. The courage you need does not come from your own strength, but from the presence of the one who walks with you. If God is with you, then nothing before you has the power to overcome you. Think of how many times the enemy tried to stop you. Every betrayal, every loss, every disappointment, those were weapons. Yet here you are, still standing. Your survival is not luck, it is prophecy fulfilled. You were always meant to outlast what was sent to destroy you. The fact that you are alive in this moment, hearing these words, is proof that hell has already failed. Chosen one, this unstoppable march forward is not just about endurance, it is about advancement. You are not merely surviving anymore, you are taking territory. Every step you take in faith pushes back the lines of darkness. Every word of prayer you release shakes spiritual foundations. Every act of obedience opens doors for others who are waiting to see what courage looks like. You are not moving for yourself alone. You are leading a procession of breakthrough. And here, with sincerity, I ask you to make a decision. If this word resonates in your spirit, engage with it fully, like this message, not as a casual gesture, but as your declaration that you agree with heaven's decree. Share it not for numbers, but because someone in your circle may be on the brink of surrender, and your act of obedience could place this word in front of their eyes at the exact hour they need it most. Subscribe if you have not already, so that you remain connected to every prophetic flow that heaven continues to release. When chosen ones gather consistently under the same fire, they sharpen one another, strengthen one another, and carry light together more powerfully than they ever could alone. And don't just passively receive this word, respond to it. Comment below with boldness. Write something simple yet prophetic, like, I march forward. By doing so, you are not only putting words on a screen, you are declaring to yourself, to heaven, and to every opposing force that you will not go back. You will not stand still. You will not quit. Your march is unstoppable, and your faith is unshakable. Chosen one. The march forward means you will face resistance. But resistance is proof of progress. The enemy only fights what is advancing. Do not misinterpret the pressure as a sign of failure. See it for what it is, confirmation that you are moving in the right direction. So step forward with fire in your spirit and courage in your stride. No weapon will prosper. No curse will stand. No chain will hold. You are unstoppable because the one who goes before you cannot be defeated. This is your inheritance. This is your moment. This is your unstoppable march forward. Chosen one, you are stepping into the crowning moment, the season where what was long promised begins to manifest in visible ways. This is not the whisper of destiny anymore, it is the unveiling of it. The crown that hovered over your life, unseen but real, is now descending, and with it comes the recognition of heaven's faithfulness, the reward of perseverance, and the fulfillment of every silent prayer you thought had been forgotten. This crowning moment is not about human applause or earthly titles. It is about heaven marking you publicly with what you have carried privately for so long. The process that felt endless, the years of hidden labor, the tears sown in secret, the countless battles you fought when no one was watching, has brought you here. The crown does not appear suddenly, it has been forged slowly. Through fire, through waiting, through obedience. It is written in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 4, verse 8. The crown of righteousness is laid up for me. The Lord, the righteous judge, will award it on that day to all who love his appearing. Chosen one. The crowning moment carries weight because it testifies to everyone around you that God is true to his word. When Joseph stood before Pharaoh, lifted from the dungeon to the palace in a single day, it was not only for his benefit, it was heaven's way of saying, "See, I am faithful. See, I fulfill my promises." Your story will echo the same truth. Those who doubted you will see the evidence of what God whispered long ago. Those who mocked you will witness what perseverance births. And those who stood with you in faith will rejoice. Because the crown is not just yours, it is shared testimony of God's faithfulness. But do not mistake this moment as the end of your journey. A crown is not only a reward, it is also a responsibility. To be crowned is to be entrusted with greater authority, to carry a weight that requires both humility and courage. Heaven does not crown the chosen so they can sit idle, it crowns them so they can reign, rule, and serve with wisdom. Your crowning moment is the beginning of a new chapter, one where your influence multiplies, your voice carries farther, and your obedience impacts more than you ever imagined. Chosen one. Reflect for a moment on the cost it took to arrive here. You endured storms that tried to break you, nights that nearly swallowed you, and valleys that tested your resolve. Yet every valley was part of the road to the throne. Every scar became a jewel in your crown. Every battle etched strength into your soul. And now, as the crown rests upon you, know that it is not just a symbol of survival, it is a declaration that you are ready to lead. The crowning moment also silences the accuser. For so long, the enemy has tried to tell you that you are unworthy, that your failures disqualify you, that your past cancels your promise. But the crown says otherwise. The crown testifies that grace has spoken louder than shame, that perseverance has outweighed weakness, and that destiny has triumphed over delay. Chosen one. Lift your head. You are no longer in the shadows of preparation. You are stepping into the light of manifestation. The crown is yours, not because you are flawless, but because you are faithful. Wear it with humility. Carry it with reverence. Let it remind you every day that heaven keeps its promises, and that the God who brought you this far will sustain you for what is to come. Chosen one. This is the sealing of your destiny. You have walked through valleys and climbed mountains, carried crosses and endured trials. But now heaven speaks one final word over you. You are sealed in glory. Nothing and no one can undo what God has decreed. The struggles you faced were not wasted. They were the chisels shaping your crown. The tears you shed were not forgotten. They watered the soil of your breakthrough. Every moment of pain has now transformed into eternal purpose. It is written in the book of Ephesians, chapter 1, verse 13, "When you believed, you were marked in him with a seal, the promised Holy Spirit." This is not a temporary mark. It is a permanent seal that declares to heaven and hell alike, you belong to God. The world may not recognize it, but the spiritual realm does. Angels see the seal and rally to your aid. Demons see it and tremble, knowing you are untouchable by their schemes. Chosen one. Sealed in glory means you are no longer striving for acceptance. You are living from identity. You don't need to prove your worth. Your seal proves it already. You don't need to chase recognition. Heaven already acknowledges your name. And you don't need to fear the future, because the seal declares your destiny is secure. Think of all the times you thought the story was over. When you lost, when you failed, when you stumbled, you thought the seal had been broken. Yet here you are, still standing. Because what God seals cannot be unsealed by human hands or demonic power. His seal is greater than your mistakes, stronger than your fears, and unshakable against every storm. Chosen one. Sealed in glory also means you walk with authority, not the authority of titles or positions, but the authority of one who carries heaven's endorsement. When you pray, heaven moves. When you speak truth, chains break. When you step into darkness, light ignites. This is not arrogance, it is divine reality. The seal upon you testifies that you are heaven's representative on earth, carrying light into places that desperately need it. But with sealing comes destiny. Glory is not just your future, it is your present. Every step you take now radiates the weight of eternity. You are not ordinary, and you never will be. You are a vessel of glory, a reflection of the one who chose you. And as you move forward, everything you do becomes part of the eternal story God is writing through your life. Do not doubt it. The evidence is clear. Your survival proves it. Your transformation confirms it. Your endurance seals it. You are God's chosen one, unstoppable, unshakable, destined not just to shine for a moment, but to blaze for eternity. So stand tall in this final declaration. Destiny is no longer a promise waiting to arrive. It is here, sealed and confirmed. Glory rests upon you, and it cannot be removed. Heaven has spoken. The seal is set, and your destiny is eternal. Chosen one, you have walked with me through this journey of fire, endurance, and breakthrough. You have seen yourself in the mirror of God's word, and you have felt heaven's call pressing into your heart. And now, as this message comes to a close, hear this: your destiny is not ahead of you, it is upon you. You are chosen, crowned, and sealed. Nothing can undo what God has decreed over your life. This is not the end. It is the beginning of your unstoppable forward march. The words you have received are seeds. And seeds must be nurtured. Keep them close. Water them with faith. And watch as they grow into the manifestation of every promise heaven has whispered to you. And here, from a place of sincerity, I ask you to engage. If this word has ignited something inside of you, like this message as your act of agreement with heaven, share it, not as a casual gesture, but as a way of carrying the flame forward into someone else's darkness. You never know who is waiting for confirmation, who is standing at the edge of giving up. Your act of sharing may place this very word in their hands at the exact hour of their breakthrough. Comment as well. Write something bold, something simple, something true. Perhaps, I receive this. In doing so, you are declaring to yourself, to heaven, and even to every enemy watching, that you align with the words spoken over your life. Finally, subscribe so that you remain connected. Chosen ones are not meant to walk alone. We are called to strengthen one another, to carry light together, and to burn brighter as a family of faith. Beloved chosen one, lift your head, step boldly, shine fully. Your best days are not behind you, they are ahead, radiant with glory.